Hello and welcome back, and thank you to everyone who is watching, and thank you to all of those who have subscribed. I really do appreciate it. If you end up enjoying this video, make sure you leave a comment down below and let's get started. So I was watering the phals and I want to look at each one of them again, kind of going on that whole summer care theme, and I just want to see what each one of them are doing, and I wanted to document it, and I thought, well, I'll take you guys along with me. So it's just the ones that are going to be on the shelf we're going to look at today. So if this gets a little bit long, I apologize ahead of time, and I understand if you don't stick around to the whole thing, but I just want to see what each one is doing and then kind of monitor it throughout the growing season, their growing season, which is summer, just to see. Like I said, I am hoping to try to get them all to spike in the fall. So I want to start with my Phalaenopsis Lark song. So she has finished off this leaf here, and as you can see, she is working on this one here. She has quite the roots in the pot, and I don't see, well, there's a couple down there with growing tips, so that is really good. So I am just watering with plain distilled water today. There is no feed in here, and all I do is I pour it over, and if it gets on the leaf, that's fine. It's still early enough in the day, it'll dry off. I just try to make sure I don't get it in the crown, and then I just run a couple of, I guess, measuring cups full through, and then once I do that, I look at the roots again inside the pot, just kind of see what else is going on, because once they're wet, obviously you can see a lot better of what they're doing, what they're not doing. I've had this girl here since I think 2020. Yes, since February of 2020. She did rebloom for me earlier this year. Beautiful, beautiful pink pale flowers with, of course, a nice deep lip. Now, a lot of people would keep watering until all of the roots are green. I just run it through until I start seeing it on some, because I don't want to waterlog her. So these are the little food containers I was telling you guys that when I soak my orchids, I will put them in like this. But this is also where I set them in order to let them kind of drain off that excess. So after her, you know what? I'm gonna pause it real quick, and I'm gonna go grab a paper towel. All right, back with the paper towels. So what I do with my paper towels is, while I'm watering, water gets too close to the crown area, I'll wipe that off. This here is our pinky purple lip, and I'll post pictures of all of these if I have them, but she's got lots and lots and lots of roots in here, and if you see all of that sphagnum moss in there, that's because when I initially potted her, she had roots, but there weren't a lot, so I was trying to encourage root growth. And then this aerial root here has a growing root tip on it, and that is just beautiful. So when I water her, I don't water in the middle. I just water around the edge, because she does have moss, and that moss will absorb and it'll go through, because I'm afraid if I do it right in the middle, it'll stay too wet. So that's what I'm gonna do with her real quick. And like I said, because there is moss in here, I'm not going to be putting too much, but like I said, I just do it right around the edge. And another thing I like to do as well is any roots, like she's got this one coming out, is I'll just kind of go over it a few times, just because it is out in the air, just to kind of help moisturize it a little bit. All right, and then I let it kind of drain off that excess. And then sometimes what I do with the aerial roots is I'll take a paper towel, and then I'll just wrap a wet paper towel around that to moisten it up. I'm not going to do that today. And let's see, does she have? Yes, she does have, and you're probably not going to be able to see it, but we're going to try. But if you look really close down in there, she has a new leaf that she is working on. So that's good on that part. All right, and then let's look at this one. So this one is supposed to be the DTPS Winter Clouds Mendenhall. It is a white flower, but whenever I look at it online, these flowers don't really match. So this is one of my strugglers as far as she's in recovery. So this leaf here, these are what her leaves are supposed to look like, nice, big, and fat, and juicy. So this is her first attempt at a leaf. Not bad. really skinny. This is her latest attempt at a leaf, so it's a little bit longer. It is a little bit wanky because I kept moving her, not paying attention, but let's look in the pot. She has lots and lots and lots of roots, plus she's got new root growth at the top coming down. And when people say that if roots start growing out of the pot, they don't like the media, it's just that's where the roots are growing. It has nothing to do with the media. Unless your media is old and bad, then that may be, but this has not been in here that long. So we will, again, I'll do a quick right in the middle, and then I just like to do it right on the outside and then water that aerial root really good. And another reason I like to do it on the outside too is if I put most of the moisture on the outside, roots look for moisture, so it encourages them to kind of go to the edge of the pot, and this way you can kind of see if your orchid is growing roots. All right, and then that's all we're going to do to that one. Now she does have a root that tried to grow out right here, but as you can see it's kind of brown. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to pick it off or anything like that. And then we just let her drain, and we'll put her to set. And then we have this one. This is the Phal Pure Moon Pixie. So she has, again, she's in this really, really small pot because when I put her in here, she had like 3 roots. And at the time, all she had was this leaf and this leaf, and then this one was growing. So when I got her, she was not a big leafed plant, so I thought she was going to be one of the smaller ones, and that's why I put her in here. She will stay in here for at least another year. I put her in here in April of last year, so she'll be in here until at least April of next year. But she has new root growth. Let's see, there we go. New root growth right there. She's got a root right there wrapping around, as well as roots down in the pot. Now she also has a little bit of moss in hers, so I'm going to make sure to do that on the sides. And when you're watering, especially big girls that flow over the sides of the pot, if you take and just kind of lift that leaf up just a wee bit, and then just get that root there. All right, and then we'll just let her drain. And I do it this way because I don't want to overwater and put too much water in there. So that's probably why I end up watering every 2 days. But I'd rather do that than put too much water and then they end up rotting the roots. Now, this one here, again, is a NOID Phalaenopsis. So I call her Iris. So I was going to cut her spike, but I'm going to leave her be because she has this root coming out here, plus she's got lots of roots in the pot, and I'll show you once I water her, but there's growing tips as well. In addition, she is growing that new leaf right there. So I'm going to leave her this way. Now this pot here, because she is in here and the roots are kind of compacted, what I do is I put it in my container. And let me move some stuff out of the way, and I'm just going to show you how, if I'm going to soak an orchid, what I do. Grab my pitcher, and then I take a watering can and I pour some of the water in there, and then I slowly go around the edge and just fill up the pot. Because this pot, she probably should be repotted just because the pot is like really tight. But again, she's been in this pot since last year, a little over a year now, and I'm trying to keep them in the same pot unless there's something absolutely necessary to take them out for at least 2 years. Kind of saves a lot of money that way. All right, and then I'm just gonna lift so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And then I just, like I said, I just go around the edge, and okay, and then I will just leave her there for a few minutes. Let me put this here. Oop, maybe not. There we go. All right, and then this one here is one of my 3 rescues that I got in. They were all in one pot, crammed in the pot with moss. And these leaves, when I got them, you could literally roll them up like a burrito. So she has done nothing since May of last year. And then about February, March time frame, she started pushing, you know, doing the roots. I started seeing roots, sorry for the glare, I started seeing roots in the pot, and then she finished off this leaf right here, which is not bad, and now she's working on this one here. So she is trying to recover, and again, this one has a little bit of moss in it, so we will go around just the edge, and then I'll slap some on that aerial root a little bit. And the aerial root does not have a growing tip. It does look like it is trying to shoot out another root off of there to continue to grow. It is a little light, but it's not obviously that hard. And these actually, this one here, this aerial root actually has, if you can see, the growing tip on there. So, all right, that is those. And then I have my little Violacea. So this is what I use the paper towel for. From splashing, some of the leaves have water on them, and some of that water is a little close to the crown, and I'm thinking that might be what had happened with my Sarai, is I just didn't catch it and it just got in there. So, but she has a root growing down in there. She's finishing off this leaf here, which she grew this one in my care, and now this is the second one, so it is much larger than the first, almost bigger than this one right here, which was the largest one she got here. And then she does have some roots down in the bottom. It's kind of hard to see through this opaque pot. Now, she doesn't need water because she is still got a little moisture in there, but they don't like to dry out. So I'm giving her a flush, and like I said, if you just lift it up like that, and then just, again, a little bit of water in there. There we go. Okay, and then this one here, I have in a container like this with some rocks at the bottom, and I usually let the excess water run off in there to create a little more humidity, because again, with her being closer to a species Phal, she likes a little more moisture. Put her there. And then we have our pink lip, who is finally firming up her leaves. This leaf here was so droopy, and then this one here, I think this one she's trying to absorb, but she has roots growing right there, and I've got this little piece of bark there on top of it trying to hold it down to encourage it to go down. She's got this aerial root here, and then she's got a root there. I don't see roots in the pot itself, but because she has now grown this leaf and is working on another one, I'm going to assume that there are roots down there. So again, I'm just going to encourage her to bring her roots to the sides. So I'm going to water on the sides. All right. And then with this being a smaller pot, I do water this quite frequently throughout the week. She doesn't get, it's not just when I do the big girls. The big girls are every 2 to 3 days. The smaller ones are probably every other day, just right now because they've got so much going on with them. And we'll pause it. I will put these girls back on the shelf, and then we will look at the rest of them.